Welcome to another episode of Healing Hands with Master Sculptor Mischell Riley. Learn to sculpt with clay using simple step-by-step techniques that will enable you to create your own works of art.
The great thing about clay sculpting is that it's not only fun, but therapeutic. I love it and you'll love it too. Okay, let's go. I'm ready to start. We have our clay here, and we're just going to warm it up. I love playing with clay. It's great therapy for the hands. It's nice and smooth. And sometimes when you get your clay, it's going to be a little cold, so you'll need to work it, and that's where it gets fun. Makes your arms really strong. And once you get it kind of smooth and warmed up, it's more pliable and it won't crumble as much. It'll bend easier. The warmth of your hands transfers to the warmth of the clay, and it just really is a very pleasant feeling. So what we're going to do is learn how to sculpt with geometric shapes. I'm going to teach you how to apply simple shapes and forms into proportions that make three-dimensional sculptures. Mostly I work with circles and snakes, different shapes that people can identify with. I don't want to complicate things too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with the eagle head here. The bald eagle was claimed a national symbol by our forefathers in 1782 because the bald eagle was unique to North America. I've been commissioned by the American Eagle Foundation to do a life-size bronze of a very special eagle named Challenger, who is rescued by humans as an eaglet. So he thinks he's a people. He's very friendly. I'll tell you more about that later, but back to sculpting. Looking from the side, it has a shape of like an ice cream cone bent, if you were to hold it in your hands. So what I'm going to do first is make the ice cream cone shape. Kind of flatten it right there. Most everybody knows what an ice cream looks like and feels like in your hands. We're just going to blend it and smooth it. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're still in the rough stages. There's usually 4 stages to a sculpture I like to do. And the first stage is what I like to call bulk out. And that's a bulk out. That's an ice cream cone. Let me have 2 scoops, please. Anyway, what I'm going to do next is look at how far this is to that. So I'm going to measure in proportion. I use my hands as a caliper just to kind of give me a safe little guide on where to bend things. And we're going to bend that for a nose. It's a little bit big, but we can pinch that off. And then we're going to bend it right about here also. So we have a nice little bend there. And you're saying that doesn't look much like an eagle, but it will. I'm just going to smooth it a little bit with our hands. And I like to use something to prop my sculpture up on. And the reason why I do this is because sometimes when you have it in your hands and you're doing detail, you tend to smash the other side while you're working on it. And trust me, from experience, you don't want to do that. So I'm going to take and place it on this rod just so I will use minimal hand contact to it to hold it in place. Now I'm going to use this part of my hand to start to smooth and shape it. As you can see with the eagle, it's kind of flat on the top of the head. So I'm just going to kind of get that motion feeling, and I'm just going to pet it like it was a bird. And that's a lot of what sculpture is just imagine if you were to pet an eagle head. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Might be dangerous, but it'd be pretty cool. I'm going to pinch some of this excess off because the proportions will seem a little bit out of proportion in the beginning. I'm just going to smooth it with my hand here. And then it's a little bit rounder on the bottom here, so I'm going to add these snakes that I've pre-rolled here. They're called snakes for obvious reasons because of their shape. And they're just long strings of clay that I like to apply. And these are pretty crucial to most of my sculpting techniques because they're very simple, easy to use, easy to make. You just roll them out. And sometimes when I roll them and I want them to be a little thinner, I can take my hand and roll it like this, and then I can bring it out a little bit like that just to kind of get it more even. Notice how I'll roll it this way and this way to get it even. Because when I first started rolling snakes, I used to go like this and push really hard, and I get these lumps in there. And that's not very good. You don't want to do that. Let's not do that technique. But if you learn to balance, you know, just the application of a snake like that, then you can get them pretty accurate and pretty quick too. And that's what I like to use for my sculptures. So I like to do thick ones and little ones, and then that way they're easier to apply and they're ready to go. You don't have to stop and keep making them. You can just grab them and go. So I'm going to make the neck a little bit thicker, and how I'm going to do that is just start to build it up like this using these snakes. I'm just going to apply some of these snakes just to kind of get the texture going and the flow of it right here. And this is a little bit long. I just pinch it off. That's what I love about clay. You can move it around, push it, twist it. And it's looking a little thin right in here, so I'm just going to take this piece right here and flatten it a little bit. Just stick it right under there and put it on there. And we're still in bulk out stage. The bulk out stage is to get the right mass before we start to apply all of our detail. And this is where it gets really fun, because you draw where his eyebrow is right here. And that starts about, you can do the same thing proportion-wise right here. It's a little thick right in here, so I'm going to grab it and feel that right there. take that off and take a little bit of this off. And I'm going to grab one of my snakes and apply it over the eye right here. And then I'm just going to kind of follow this line here. This is what they call negative space.